When they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Tune in to UFO Undercover, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Joe Montaldo, right here on the Paranormal Radio Network.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die, yo?" Reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Welcome to UFO Undercover with your host, Joe Montaldo.
Well, thank you there, Natasha. Glad you welcomed us all in here today. It's Joe and Jay, and God knows who'll show up or not show up, or what kind of weirdos are running loose on our stage these days.
I send invites
Definitely.
out to all kinds of disreputable people.
I am too in a few minutes. What's that, Jessica? I had a jacket on. Yes, well, I was doing things that required a jacket earlier, so I figured I was already dressed. I might as well wear it like this. It's not
And
the
it
first
was
time I've
cold
had
as
a
hell at
jacket.
work today, so I brought my.
Yeah, and actually, it actually helps me because it's cold as hell up in here too.
Well, I work in a warehouse, so we have basically heat. That's it. No air conditioning, and the heat really isn't all that good.
It's weird because in here right now, in the studio, you usually don't need anything. You need an AC in the summer times because it gets so hot in here because of the computers. But we have a secondary air system here, so we got the big system built in, and then we got a secondary system for air. But I don't really think about it in the heat because computers like it cold, so I don't mind it when it's cold. But when I'm in here working, and I think right now in this particular room it's about 41 degrees, so it's kind of like, Jessica, there's a little floor heater next to
I
me.
would kill for 41 degrees. It's going to be 17 degrees here tonight, so
Yeah,
41
but
would
it's
be
gonna
a
be
heat
at your
wave.
house. That's what it is in the house. Outside, it's 33 degrees. It's gonna get down to 25 here tonight. So I know when
That's
the heat
unusual
is
for
out.
y'all down there.
Yes, and if you kick in wind and stuff like that, it puts us into the teens. So
Yeah, well,
but it's this is what's so funny. So we're gonna get it. We got it last night. We're gonna get it tonight. We're gonna get it tomorrow night. Tonight I'll probably go hook up my hose and blow my trees all white and pretty. Uh,
yeah.
but Thursday night when all the shit comes in, or Friday night when all the stuff comes in, it's not going to be cold enough here to get snow or sleet. It's just going to be rain.
That's too bad.
Now up north, an hour from here, oh, they're going to get to sleet. 2 hours here, they're going to see about a foot of snow. It's not unusual for Mississippi to see snow. It's just unusual for the coast to see
The
snow.
Gulf Coast, yeah. I mean, the northern part of the states, there's a. Is it the same mountain range that goes through Colorado up to the north?
No. So no, you got one that tilts out left, and you got one tilts out right. So it's the
Right.
Ozarks. The Ozarks are here.
That's on the eastern side of the state. I
Yeah,
think it's the Colorados that's on the western side of the state.
but anyway, they got. Oh no, Jack, they got mountains all over above us. Oh yeah, when you get to see, this is what's so weird about it. So it's one of the nice things about living in a southern state that people don't know about, unless you live on the water. I mean, on the Gulf Coast water, because there's lots of places that live on the water. That's the only time you got to really worry about hurricanes. If you live in even an hour inland, yeah, you might have to worry a little bit from maybe wind damage or something like that, but not really too much. You're gonna have to worry about it. And the temperature is going to be moderate. It's going to be nice. It's going to, and every now and then you'll see some snow. But if you really want to see snow, you get in your car, you drive an hour, 2 hours up north in the same state. You see it snow an hour after that. You're in the mountains. There's a beautiful mountain range. It's in Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and Georgia. When I take the was it 20 up to my sister's instead of going through Alabama, it takes me in all three states. And you go through, you catch a mountain range, and there's this one little town. When you come out of this side of this gray ass tall ass mountain, and there's a little town drop down. And there's a little river down there, and another crosses over, goes on the bridge, another river, another part of the town. It's nestled in this little valley, which doesn't even show up on a map. It's you're just cruising along 80, 85. Whoop! Wow, where'd that come from? There's a city there. Whoa, wait a minute. Let's stop and check it out.
There's a lot of little places like that down in that area.
Yeah, well, they hide it, and then they grow after a while because Georgia has been growing its happy ass off. So it's because you've got up north where they have beautiful cabins and beautiful valets, and you can go watch the wildlife, watch the bears at your cabin, steal your food out of your garbage if you don't have it locked. Lots of snowfall. It's not it's not like there's not going to be a lot of snow up there, so you can really enjoy it. So you got really nice mountains, and you can go ski it, or you can get your car and drive 4 hours straight downward and be on the Gulf of Mexico, deep sea fishing and hanging out on the beach and enjoy yourself. Or if you don't want to do that, about halfway down, you hook a left, go over to Savannah.
Savannah is awesome. I lived there for 13 years.
It's a great little place.
Georgia's got some little towns just like that. My roommate and I, we would like just get a wild hare every weekend or so and go. We wouldn't even pick a place to go. We would just pick a direction and drive through the back areas of Georgia. And we stumbled upon a town literally just like you said. You blink and there's nothing there. You blink again and boom, there's the town. You blink again and you're already past it. It's called Americus, Georgia, and when we went through it, it's early '90s. It literally was a one light town, one traffic light town, and by one light, I got to turn my camera back on. I'm sorry, I was wiping my nose. By one light, I don't mean there's like here's one for the left side, here's one for the right side, and then they have two for the reverse going the other way. No, it's one light. It's got 4 lights on all 4 sides for this one 4-way intersection. It is the only light in town. Oh, and they had 1 stop sign, so they were better than a one light town of other report. But anyway, you can find lots of cool. Just let's say Americana. By doing that kind of stuff, you can find neat. If you're a antiquer, you can find all kinds of places of like just people's houses. They sell. One guy sells hubcaps. One guy sells, taxidermy. All kinds of pop culture stuff is available doing these kinds of trips.
You do find a lot of stuff on there. Well, Frank. So for us, when we're doing, so we'll get a report comes in. Somebody will send us a report of a UFO or something, or an abduction. But so we got from the East Coast to New Orleans. So you've got Louisiana, of course. You have Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and Florida. So you got those 5 little states right there, all tucked in. That we would count Texas, but Texas is a country by itself. So
Texas is huge.
Texas is bigger than those 5 states, or comparable to those 5 states I just mentioned. So I mean, Texas has its own setup, but it's not that far. I mean, I can be in Jacksonville, Florida, in 7.5, maybe 8 hours, depending on traffic. No problem at all. I can be in Tampa in 6 to 7 hours, depending on traffic. I can be in Nashville in under 5 hours. I can be in Memphis in under 5 hours, Nashville in under 8. It's and then like Houston's 4.5 hours away. Dallas is about 6.5 to 7 hours away. There's so many major cities.
The other side of Texas from where you are is a day.
To get from
by itself.
To get from where I'm sitting right now to Roswell, New Mexico is about 18.5 hours. And Roswell is not that far out of Texas, people. I'm just telling you. If you ever want to take a flight to Roswell, you got to fly into Lubbock, and you got to catch a puddle jumper and fly into Roswell. Yeah, Roswell does have an airport. It used to be a pretty big airport. They used to strip down jets.
It used to be an Army Air Force airport there as well.
Yeah.
It still works as a local municipal airport.
Yeah, they are, but it's usually mainly where they bring in planes, and it's like the plane's last trip that's going to get trashed out there. Yeah, they do a lot of that kind of stuff. It's kind of weird that when you land to see all those pieces of airplanes all over the place. Yeah, I've flown there. I had to. I was doing a lecture down there, and I had to get there in a hurry. Like I said, it's an 18-hour drive from here. So, well, a lot of times people will fly into Lubbock and drive in to Roswell. We're going to call it driving. But the guy said, "Oh no, we can get you right there." It's like, really? It's like, yeah, it's not going to cost you anything extra. I'm like, sure, okay, cool. Well, people are also scared to fly in non-jet aircraft. And the puddle jump I took was a twin-engine prop. I've been in prop planes before. It's not my first time, so it wasn't even a thing for me. As long as I get 2 engines, I'm fine, man. I don't know. Stick me in one of them single-engine Cessnas that are 50 years old. Somebody went and bought for $10,000. No, you can keep that. I don't care what kind of pilot you are. I don't want to go.
Yeah, when you're flying a plane, the wings aren't supposed to go like this.
Yeah, the engine's not supposed to sputter and stuff when you're taking off. No. It's not the plane I want to be on. But anyway, tonight's show is really just about why should any of us care about people who say they've been abducted. Now, if you're listening to us tonight and you're in contact with your abductee, don't get offended, but why should we care? Why should Jay give a shit?
Well, and I can't remember the admiral's name, but he's a British admiral, member of Parliament, very rich fellow. Actually, he fought in World War II, and he's a knighted fellow as well. So he's Sir something or other, and I can't remember the exact quote, but he said something to the effect when he asked his Department of Defense, the British DoD, about UFOs, and they told him that there was no significant threat to civil defense. And he said, well, when you have things flying through your airspace that not only can you not identify, cannot catch, cannot affect, or otherwise stop these events, well, then that is a considerable, serious threat to civil defense.
Yeah, national
Regardless, I
security.
mean, yeah, whether there's only one person who's flying the unidentified object knows about themselves or not, it's all the other air traffic around. It is dangerous for all of them.
It's very dangerous.
Most countries don't see it like that, and it's something coming through our atmosphere, and then not only coming through from outer space into our atmosphere, but down to the ground and grabbing one of us or several 100 million of us per day, per year. That's a significant, that's a threat, in my opinion. I mean, we're territorial creatures. Perhaps the aliens are not. But the fact you have creatures of unknown origin who can thwart your defense systems without any problems at all and are affecting your citizens, that is 100% threat territory. It's wartime. If it were a known fact, if it were the Russians doing, if the Russians were behind the UFOs and it was found out tomorrow, well, World War III would begin.
It's funny because the government's we're looking at yaps. We're looking at yaps. We're looking at yaps. Okay, first off, you know what you can do.
Yaps.
Yap. Anyway, it's because we got to do you, big you. You app.
A little bit more off the tongue,
Yap. It just sounds like yap to me. So it should be a Y instead of a U, but still. Well, people, I'm old school. UFO is fine. UFO is what it is. Unidentified flying object. I don't know that it's the little grays up there, and I don't know if it's a jet airliner going by because I can't see it well. No, that's why we use the term unidentified flying object.
Here's the perfect example for UFO over UAP. At night, if you look up in the sky and you see and hear something fly over your head, well, it's some sort of device. It could be an airplane, a helicopter, or what. You might not be able to identify exactly what type of machine it is. You won't be able to determine if it's American Airlines, United Airlines, UPS, military. You can't. Why? It's at night. You can't see the damn thing. So it is all things at night in the air are unknown to ground dwellers. Unless you have an active screen that tells you what flights are directly over your head by radar, all flights, all the devices in the air that are known and unknown devices are unknown unidentified flying objects at night. It's a given. Right? And it sounds stupid, but you cannot identify a known aircraft that we fly daily, nightly, at night.
So why they change it to aerial phenomena?
It's not a phenomenon.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a phenomenon. I didn't.
It's an actual thing. It's been happening. I mean,
you know who did it? That's Dr. Greer's influence on that bullshit.
Yeah, probably so.
Greer can kiss my ass.
Yeah. A phenomenon is like will-o-wisps and those kind of flickering lights. Other people see it like in swamp areas, because that isn't necessarily well documented, but we know that there are some known causes for that. But it's still a phenomenon. We don't really know what kind of conditions actually create these will-o-wisps. Will-o-wisp is basically what it looks like is been described as either fairies flying through the woods or little balls of light, or more precisely, it looks more like people walking through the woods with either flashlights or torches, flaming torches. It's been recorded throughout history, these will-o-wisps, but it's a phenomenon because it's just a strange natural event that happens in certain areas, mainly swamps and boggy areas. UFOs, however, they're not phenomena. They are actual physical things. They've been recorded on radar, film, video. They've probably been recorded on digital imaging, CCP or CCT, whatever they call that system now. It's a real thing. Phenomenon like ball lightning it's not a physical object. It's lightning. Will-o-wisps is a phenomenon. It can't harm you. It's just it's gases that light up incandescently like we light up light bulbs. certain conditions in the atmosphere make it happen. Blue lightning happens when a lightning strike on the Earth, on that same cloud on the other side, you see a blue flash. These are just natural phenomena. UFOs are not. They are unnatural and they are real things.
Yeah, when you see what appears, what a lot of people label as UFOs, that may be a craft from other than here. When you see one, there's no doubt that it's not ours. There's no doubt it doesn't move like anything you've ever seen move on this planet. No, even the advanced stuff that you've seen, including drones now, which can do this stuff and this stuff and that stuff and that stuff and that stuff. Drones can do all sorts of interesting things. And groups of drones can make you think you're seeing all kind of interesting stuff. But in the end, they're still drones and they're not moving. You're not going to see anything that can cruise up behind the F-35, do loops around it, and then cruise away from the F-35 while like it wasn't even there. I mean, they had an F-35 pilot talking about this just recently. He said, I finally understand what a Foo Fighter is. He said they're cruising over. They were actually cruising out, running patrol somewhere in the Middle East. He said they're cruising along, following some Iranian pilot somewhere. He said this thing comes zipping. He said we thought it was an Iranian drone until we realized how fast it was going. He said there was no way. It had been traveling Mach 10, Mach 15. He said it blew by fast enough that my wing did this as it went by. He said, and then it was like it was moving so fast it didn't see us, so it stopped and turned around and came back. He said, I got right in front of my cockpit. And he said, if you've ever been in a cockpit of any military jet, the glass they use is much different than what you see in your car. This shit is so clear, it does not look like it exists.
It's like this thick, too, and it works like a magnifying glass.
It works like a magnifying glass, so it does not look like it's there.
Are you familiar with Fresnel lenses?
I don't think so.
Fresnel lenses are the type of lenses that use in Hollywood, and they have like concentric circles in it, and they're the same kinds of lenses as big, huge, thick glass lenses that they put in lighthouses that spin around. What it does is it magnifies the light. The cockpit glass has this effect. It gives them better vision.
It makes that corny glass look like child's play and stuff. But anyway, the guy said when he got there, I mean, it was just sitting in front of him. He said, I'm still cruising along. He said, I can't tell you.
Mach 3, Mach 4?
He said he was classified, which means he was over the Mach 1.7.
All right, so what?
Well, I think it's rated for Mach 2, so it means he was cruising over Mach 2.
Yeah.
So he's cruising along. He said it sat there, and he said, remember now, people. He said this thing went past us. There's two of us. It goes past us. I'm trying to talk to my wingman in the radio. We're kind of hearing each other. It was kind of breaking up. And he said, then it turned around and came back. He said, it actually didn't turn around. It just stopped and came backwards. He said, then it stopped in front of me. Well, not actually stopped because I was moving at whatever speed I was moving. And it was moving backwards at the same speed I was moving, never making any distance. He said, you could tell by the light in my cockpit. He said, and all this was recorded, by the way. He said, I don't know if y'all ever get to see it or not. He said, but you could tell by the light in my cockpit is they stand exactly where it was, regardless, relevant to my craft. He said, and then it just came up, kind of sat on top of me. And he said, I felt like I was in the top. The thing just went, and then curved around and went over the other guy. He said, when it approached the other craft, it zinged around it so fast you could it just looked like one solid line.
He was scanning. He's looking for weapons.
He said he just cruised over. He said it was like someone showing off, just showing that. He said he actually even referenced when they were flying under the Iranian craft and the F-22. He actually referenced that. He said it was like the day we were flying an F-22 and had under the F-4 Phantom. They had no idea we were there. We could kill them. But this was the same thing. This was whoever this was just showing us that your little piece of shit airplane isn't nothing compared to what I'm flying right now. He said, and I got the distinct feeling that if this thing wanted to take us out, it could have easily took us out without any effort whatsoever. He said, I don't even think we had a recourse. It moved so fast, nothing we had on board could even catch it when we fired it.
No. What's our fastest missile go? Mach 10, maybe?
Yeah, the hypersonic, I think it's Mach 10. I don't know. Classified is probably somewhere between Mach 8.5 and 11.5, but it's and now if it's intercontinental ballistic, that's going to be faster, but still. You know, it's so funny to me when I heard the news that they go, well, Russia's got hypersonic missiles. I'm thinking, yeah, they have intercontinental ballistic missiles. Those are hypersonic missiles. And I'm like,
that's the same thing that we shot up onto the moon.
Yeah. So what they should have said is now Russia has small hypersonic missiles. Is what they should have
How
said.
about
Mid range
tactical? How about
or
even better,
tactical.
tactical
That would have worked too.
hypersonic missiles?
But the way they made it out, I'm thinking you sound like idiots. How
Yeah.
did you not? Did you not look it up to see for yourself? But when it comes to media, Kirby asked me that on Friday about the Young Turks. Oh God, yes, I watched the meltdown. It was funny. It was funny. So real quick, I can't get on the subject on this show, but I've been going through a lot of we'll just say election night meltdowns. We're going to talk about it on this Friday show. We might even play a couple of them. They are, I mean, guys, it is comedy like you couldn't pay for this kind of comedy. I'm just telling y'all, you just couldn't. It was too much. Some of it was just and some of the stuff that was said, you're thinking, Jay and I and a whole bunch of us, we were live that night doing a show, so we were calling them with the best of everybody else. We had 5.5 million listeners listening, tuned into us. So I mean, we were doing a great job calling, much better than most of the things. But we did notice, and we talked about this on that show, that a lot of them were pretty honest on the numbers, with the exception of two, which I'm not going to mention their name on the show. But other than that, all the rest of the networks were being pretty honest with their numbers, which was surprising. But anyway, ask me that on Friday.
They were all still off a couple of numbers. It was strange. Everyone wasn't on the same page at the same time.
No, it was always like click here, click there, click here. This one didn't have this date, that one had this date. It was a thing. And Fox was calling everybody ahead of everybody else. But anyway, ask me that on Friday, and we'll talk about it on Friday because you're gonna love some of the stuff. And the Young Turks was just like, first off, why did it come to Young Turks? There's nobody young on there. They're at least my age. I'm like, Jesus, people, you like old as dirt on this show. It should be the oldest dirt show. Maybe I'll start a new show here called the Oldest Dirt. Wise as dirt. No, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, we're not going there. But Jeffrey, to answer your question, why should we care about alien abductions? Because contactees and alien abductees are probably the only people that actually have the truth, or at least, let me rephrase it before anybody writes to me, a piece of the truth.
A smidgen of the truth that the aliens want them to have. Is that the truth? We don't know. Remember, look, I mean, anyone who doesn't think this is any kind of a threat situation has got to be, drinking the Kool-Aid, as it were. You've got 4 to 5, maybe 6 different alien species interacting with and evading not only capture and detection most of the time, but our weapons have no effect on them. And even if they did, they have enough presence here that it's not going to give us much ground. But you have species of unknown origin hiding like in a hunting blind and conducting unknown experiments on an unknown quantity of earthlings. No, that doesn't sound at all kind of sinister to me in one bit. But everyone says, "Oh no, it's." I'm sorry, but it sounds like a hunter to me. It's a sinister. There could be sinister implications. We don't know what any of these 5 or 6 races' agendas really are. They could tell us A and mean B. We don't know.
Let's see. Catherine Morrison from Quebec, Canada, is writing. Oh, how outclassed we are. You mean militarily wise, how outclassed we are? Yes. I would imagine a single mid-range gray spacecraft could eliminate the military of everybody on the planet. Just one. Yeah, just one. God help them if they bring a big ship like a mothership. They can wipe everything out at 1 second, just the whole damn planet, or just everything on the planet at one time. But one gray mid-range craft, one of them big saucers, probably about the size of a mid-sized destroyer of the U.S., would be plenty enough to take out. They would cripple our military in a matter of minutes, and then they would go on a cripple our base. We already know they can shut down nukes, so we can't use nukes against them. Any kind. They can shut down missiles. We've seen them do that as well too. So I don't even. What do we do? Shoot machine guns at them? I don't even think they would penetrate their hull.
Yeah, and if they have energy shields or plasma shields, near the machine,
pretty much screwed, people.
But I mean, not only that, I think I think it would be. I think they would need to have more than one craft to take out all of the electronic nuclear weapon systems worldwide. because when those happened, it was very localized thing. It was just that base.
Well, no, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. All I got to do is just take it out permanently and move on to the next one.
Oh, I see.
You don't remember. You don't remember. I mean, I was gonna say Battlefield Earth. wrong, wrong TV show. I'm sorry, I was looking at something else. No, what's his name? What's damn? My least favorite star was in the new version of it, Tom Cruise, but the old version was the one I liked.
It's War of the Worlds.
Yeah, War of the Worlds. You know how they had the little blister shields on them, the bubble shields, and they would just move from one place to the. And that's all it would do. I mean, I don't. As far as I know, they've been around a long time, so I don't think we can affect their shields anyway at all. And like I said, we already know nuclear weapons aren't going to stop them. Conventional missiles aren't going to stop them. Pretty sure. I just don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. They could just take their time. They could fly over Norfolk, wipe it out. Fly over Hawaii, wipe it out. Fly over Moscow, wipe it out. Wipe out the Pentagon. Just keep moving along. And we don't know what kind of reach these craft have and how many targets can it do at one time.
They could probably do
great craft.
A bigger one.
Yeah, and they probably can do it from orbit. I would imagine they had the ability to just probably do a couple hundred targets at a time. Just all of a sudden you just see battleships and cruisers just start disappearing off the planet. You're like, oh, what's going on here? Hell, as far as we know, now you just beam the son of bitches out in space. Just leave them float away. Or burn up on the atmosphere coming in.
Good point. They could, if they were a peaceful takeover, they could beam all the personnel off of naval vessels and military installations and up into their mothership and say, "Hey, you move, you die."
I think the Greys figure if you're on a military vessel, you're fair fire, you're fair fodder. I figure it's probably the same for just them too, and anybody in the old councils. And I imagine they feel the same way. Probably from too many wars throughout the eons, but
well, I mean, that's how we started World War II with us. Is it until the Japanese attacked our idle fleet in Pearl Harbor, we were not going to join that war.
I know I don't. The galaxy was it. Well, I don't think it is anymore, but it definitely was at one time. There's signs that. Well, no, because there's signs that it was, but before man, before we existed, and it's remnants of it which is left from behind. You got to remember everything in space, how long things take to happen in space for us. So even the nearest sun, it takes 4 years for that light to get to us. So any information or anything else from there would take 4 years. Anything happening near the worm, near the center of the galaxy or on the other side of the galaxy would take hundreds of thousands of light years to reach us. So anything that happened, even in the last couple of million years, you don't know where it, and that's if it's coming this way. Because other things might divert it, like the black hole in the center of the galaxy might just suck up the radio waves. We may never get them. But whatever waves they're using, you got to remember, most advanced races are probably not using communication like we are. I mean, we use fast as light communication, not faster than light communication. So we use radio waves and television waves, video waves, whatever you call them. So right now, Jimmy, no, radio waves travel at the speed of sound. Who told you that bullshit? No, lasers travel. No, radio waves travel at the speed of light, just like lasers do. They travel at the speed of light. No, they don't travel at the speed of sound. Not so. When you broadcast it, like right now, when I'm talking, it's broadcasting out across the universe. As long as it's going through an FM signal and it's broadcasting at the speed of light and it's cruising along. And so, in what is this? 2025. So in 3025, it'll be 100 light years from the planet. God knows who'll be listening to us. I mean, who are these weirdos? What are they talking about? Aliens? They're the aliens. We're not the aliens. See, these humans are stupid, man. Can't they tell the difference? No, you stupid aliens. You're the alien. And
it would be more like a conversation like, oh, who are these guys? Oh, those humans? Yeah, they're extinct. No wonder. They're so stupid. Listen to what they're talking about. But yeah, that is part of the equation too. Why should we care about UFO abductees and the thing? A lot of people.
Yeah, shouldn't we be more worried about going to Mars? Colonizing Mars and terraforming Venus and Mars, terraforming some of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. I mean, come on. There's 8 billion of us here. Do you realize if we colonize just 5 other worlds, there could be 100 billion of us in less than 500 years? 100 billion humans just in this one solar system. It'd be
Well,
insane.
think about this. We have just around Jupiter and Saturn, just those two satellites alone possess over 300 moons. Those 300 moons, most of them are larger than Earth. Many of them could be very easily eco boosted to be like Earth. And boom, we could not only be that, we could be 300 planets and 800 billion strong.
Yeah. So eventually we're going to get out there and start terraforming, because we got to terraform so we can get under our solar system under control. Besides, we want to be out past Jupiter in 3 billion years, because in 3,500,000,000 years, our sun goes red giant and Earth is gone. Mars will still be here. I don't know what kind of condition
We
it will be
need
there.
to be capable of quick, easy, efficient, and cheap extrasolar travel within 100 million years.
Yeah, we should be. And
If
and
not,
if,
we're-
and, and if,
not-
if,
not
if
we're
it can
dead.
only if we can only inhabit our solar system, that's fine. You'll still be around. Our sun's going to live for about another 5.5 billion years, but in 3.5 billion, Earth is gone. It's taking it bye bye. And I don't know about Mars. I think Venus is going to be gone too, people. So I don't even think about Venus. Mars will be there, but will Mars be like Mercury? Because this is going to be a red star, not a yellow star, so it won't be as hot. But I don't know if Mars will still be inhabitable or not. But all those moons and all this stuff out in the outer solar system, all that ice is going to melt out there, and the Oort cloud, all that's going to melt. So it's going to be a different. So there'll be all kind of light. No time what life will start on its own. But that's only a 2 billion year reprieve, people. After that, there is no sun left in this solar system.
Well, and then also whatever happens after the first nova, when it destroys it'll destroy most of the inner planets and some of the outer planets. But like you said, the stuff in the Oort cloud will survive. But the dust and debris of the other planets that have been destroyed should, if all things are equal in this universe, create accretion disks, which will recreate a new solar system. Maybe more planets, maybe less planets. But life will recycle, and who knows?
But we've got to be on planets that we know
Got
can
different group of
survive.
people here in the solar system.
We got to be on planets inside our solar system that we can survive when it happens. It would be better to be outside the solar system, maybe hanging out at Proxima or some other solar system.
Yeah, like I said, extrasolar travel would be more ideal.
So, Miriam, no matter what we do, whether we invent faster than light travel or not, we're going to leave the solar system. So it'll take us, depending on what type of drives we come up with, like the plasma drives and stuff like that, it'll take us 10,000 years. Mars will be well on its way to being terraformed by then. Venus will be on its way to being terraformed by then. A couple of outer moons will have all kind of stuff out in the asteroid belt, mining and taking stuff on a daily basis. Matter of fact, in 10,000 years, I bet you that asteroid belt's half the size it is today, just from the amount of stuff that we've taken from it. So, we'll be moving right along. But what'll happen then is by then we'll have established bases from Earth all the way out to the edge of the Oort cloud, all the way to the edge of the known solar system, which is 2 light years, I believe. And I'd have to check to be 100% sure, but I believe it's 2 light years. Well, that means Proxima is only 1.8 light years away. So you go out 2/3 of a light year and you build a base. And that leaves you another, not quite a light year from Proxima. Even at 2/3 light speed, or even at half light speed, that's only a 1.5 year trip.
The solar system's diameter is about 1.5 light years, or 200,000 astronomical units. An astronomical unit, if I'm not mistaken, is from the Earth to the Sun.
Don't remember. I used to know that too. Sad shame on JoJo. I don't use that stuff anymore.
But
I'd have to look it up.
So our solar system from end to end at its widest point is about 1.5 light years. So you round it up to 2 light years. You're right.
So like I said, I put this. Well, Jamie, so the closest, see, they always tell you Proxima is 4 point something light years from us, but there's actually part of Proxima that isn't. It's 3.85 light years from us. Yeah, they don't like. I don't know why. It's always been a thing in science. I have no idea. They always refer, I think, Proxima Centauri, which is 4.1 or 4.2. It's but regardless, at two light years out, that only leaves 2 light years to get there. So if you build a base a light year out, that's going to take you 2 years to get there. You hang out there, you refuel, you do all your stuff. You still only got 2 years to get to Proxima, and you're there. And that's if you even want to make the stop. I imagine by then you'll have craft that can reach the edge of our solar system to Proxima in 4 years. Wouldn't even be a big problem. But that's assuming we're traveling at light speed. We have to assume that we're going to be traveling at half to 2/3 light speed. And remember, humans have to be careful here because at 2/3 light speed, the time passing on Earth is much faster than the time is passing for you. So when you get to Proxima, so let's say you left Earth and it took you 10 years to get out to the edge of the solar system. That's traveling at normal speed. It's only 10 years past on Earth. And then bam, you start doing 2/3 light speed and stuff to Proxima. So 4 to 8 years will have passed for you. About 64 to 84 years will have passed on Earth. I know it might even be more. No, yeah, 4 years is probably about 84 years. Give or take 10 years here and there. That's a lot of time, people. That means most of the people, almost everybody you know, is dead when you go back. Now, let's say that you go 10 light years. Oh, no. Now that's like 300 years that have passed. And for every 10 years, it's going to double. And for every time you go up even a notch in speed, it's going to go even more. So you get to 3/4 light speed or 90% light speed. Earth shit on Earth, it's going to be like 1 year. It's going to pass for you. Probably 1,000 years is passing on Earth. So you just know you going back. Even with the trip coming back, which is possible for you to come back, only 20 or 30 years will have passed for you. You'd be coming back to a whole new world, a whole new society, a whole new everything. Hell, as far as that, some ship may come along and pick you up and say, "What are you doing, slow boy? Hop on board. We're going to take you home."
The best example that might help everyone is to watch the first original Planet of the Apes, because Charlton Heston is doing a little bit of monologue to give you a background of what's happened to his spaceship, and in it he actually mentions time warp and that kind of thing, and that they're back on their approach to Earth after their however long mission, and what happens when they finally land on Earth. Actually, they crash instead. It's a different place. 100%, because it's been thousands of years.
So, see this book right here, people? I'm going to give this book away right now, actually.
Oh, nice.
So, it's a good book. This is a special edition given to me. It's a first printing. It's a Kickstarter edition. So it's a first printing. It means it's very limited run. Oh, look. And I love people. They always send you money, these newbies. Always send you money. I see the money in it. It comes with the book. It's good luck for them. So, if y'all can tell me, because when Jay said this, it reminded me something that I actually didn't know about Planet of the Apes in the beginning. Was planet Earth the planet that was supposed to be about the apes? Were the apes supposed to be from Earth?
Is that the trivia question for the book?
That's a trivia question.
Oh,
so
I know
this
the
is
answer.
an easy question. This is really pretty much a yes and no question. But if you could tell me what in the original book, what the author was talking about, I'll give you this book. And if you can tell me the place the author was talking about, not only will I give you this book, I got a Writers of the Future extra laying around here. I'll send along with it. To the 10th person who writes to me, ICAR at Cox.net. Yes, ICAR at COX.net. Feel free right away. Anyway, moving along. Yeah, when you said that, it got me thinking about it. I was listening because honestly, I had read the books, but I had forgot about this. And when I was listening to a gentleman talk about it on TV, he was going through the new and old Planet of the Apes, and he was telling us, like, "Oh shit, I had forgot all about that." What's that, Genie? You know the answer? What is it? That's correct, yes. But were you the correct person? That's the real question, isn't it?
Number 10.
What are you talking about? It's funny you say that. I'm watching Voyager right now. I've been watching. I'm on season 5. Yes. 7 and 9 is just wreaking havoc all over the place. It's Actually, so I think Jerry Doyle looks better now that she's in her 40s, early 50s than she did when she was 79.
Jerry
I
Ryan.
don't know. Jerry Ryan, I'm sorry. I did say Jerry Doyle, didn't I?
Yeah.
No, Jerry Doyle's a guy, by the way,
Yeah.
not a girl. But he's also a famous sci-fi.
Hey, if you want to swing that way, Joe, that's fine. But I'm sticking with Jerry Ryan. She's
Yeah,
very
I'm with you. Anyway, but she's on my well, she was. We don't play anymore, but she was on my Mafia Wars on Facebook for like a decade. We played Mafia Wars together. It's I don't know, people. I was just playing Mafia Wars, and one day, and I got a request, and I said sure, and we were all playing, and somebody said, Joe, that's 7 and 9. I'm like, who's 7 and 9? Get the hell out of here! And we were just playing it, and one day she when she flashed on, she was wearing her 7 and 9 gear. I was like, oh shit, it's 7 and 9. She was actually really sweet. You know who else was Kim Commando? She was another sweet. Kim Commando Denise was was a famous. She still is. She's a host that she's electronics. She's in electronics, and they give away a lot of high end electronics. I believe they're out of DC, if I remember. It's been a long time. Yeah, she looked good in a white man shirt, is all I can tell you. Man. Anyway, moving on from all of that, has nothing to do with aliens. What do you say? Stephanie says the gray looks good in a white man shirt. I'm not thinking so. I'm just not thinking we're going to even go there. But if you had to give me a real reason, why should we go out of our way to deal with abductees or contactees? I mean, what is it? Can we expect? Can we help them? Well, I think we can.
A,
some
yes,
ways.
and B, their information could also help the rest of us by perhaps finding either weaknesses, reasons, rhyme or reasons, and or technology to help either defend or stop said unwanted aggressions.
Or at the very least, we could slap the shit out of them and say, "Wake up." What are you talking about? No, I own Aliens or Us, by the way. Yes, I do. I own the domains and a couple other things with that. Yes, I do. But anyway, we actually been thinking about starting a show with that show name, Aliens or Us. Aliens or Us. Is it? Does it mean aliens or us, or does it mean aliens or us?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Figure it out. I can tell you, people figure it out.
Getting into some deep shit here. Oh, pardon my French.
Yeah. Janice. Do I think Gene Roddenberry was a contactee? I think he was an abductee.
Yes.
I don't think he actually knew he was being taken.
The way that I hear the story, and this is one I heard way back in like the mid to late 70s, was that he was approached while he was in his offices at Desilu Studios, which was on the back lot of Paramount in, I believe it's Van Nuys, California. Anyway, he was approached by 2 or 3 gentlemen in like Men in Black type garb, black hats, black sunglasses, white shirts, black ties, black everything else. And what he says is that they told him, Mr. Roddenberry, we like your show. We think it's really good. And we think you're fairly close. But here's the real thing. There's an actual group of aliens. We have a federation that protects and surrounds this sector of space. And there are so many species and so many planets that we have under our control at this time. And this is 1967. No. Yeah, 67. This is the summer of 67. So what happened is in the first season, Star Trek's Enterprise was controlled by a group called the United Earth Space Probe Agency, basically a fictional NASA. In the second season, the Enterprise is now controlled by a group called the United Federation of Planets, which has some 120 planets and 80 host creatures, which is what the Men in Black told Roddenberry earlier in the year while he was stuck trying to figure out new storylines. That's the story.
It's a
contactee, not an abductee, I believe.
Well, his son said he didn't believe in any of it. And he was just asked again recently, and his son said he thought it was all, what did he use? Hooga booga, some stupid word. He said he didn't think aliens were real, or he said he didn't think they were visiting our planet. And that's the same thing Elon Musk said. Elon Musk said he doesn't think they're visiting our planet, which doesn't surprise me. But the reason I know he's not a contactee is because of how he did his shows. So if he was Spielberg, then I'd say he was a contactee. But because he's not, I'd say he's an abductee. Because if you look at the things Spielberg did, like when he drew the Greys, he knew what they looked like. When they walked on the ceiling on the side of the walls, only contactees knew that until that movie came out. Nobody else knew that. It wasn't even being talked about in public.
No, but there are some government agents that would have known that information too. So he
not many. See, that's the thing. I don't think you understand how much little the government doesn't actually know.
But there are certain departments that do know that, and part of those departments, their aim and goal is to disseminate the information in such a way that it trickles down and people become used to it. So I would not be surprised if someone in the military gave him those ideas.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not. You can tell it's more about the way he puts them to use. He's experienced it, is what it is. See, I was with you. I thought somebody had. I actually thought he just probably met an abductee, or maybe one of his researchers was an abductee or a contactee. That's what I thought at first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard him giving a speech in New York City, and I realized, oh no, he's been taken. He was talking about how he felt about things and how he felt about seeing this thing run up the side of the wall. There's no doubt he had been taken. He was definitely abduction 101 on that particular interview. So, and the fact that he put it to use suggests that he's more of a contactee. And he may have been told to put it to use. And you know, when you go back and look at his works in general and how they pan out, it gives you a much better idea, because Star Trek is great, but Star Trek is a fictional universe. Spielberg's not writing about a fictional universe. He's writing about a universe that could be existing. Even though we can't actually be part of it because we're not there yet, it does exist outside of us. Even though I want Star Trek to exist because I love Star Trek, I think it's fabulous, and I think it's the way the universe should be. Just at current moment, I don't know if that's what it really is, and maybe that's what they're working for. One day to adhere to that. But my problem's always been with Gene Roddenberry, the same thing. If you go back and you look at his series of westerns he did before he did Star Trek is the same series. Same lesson, same issues, same things.
Oh yeah, well
he basically took a western and turned it into a sci-fi.
Yeah,
which I give him credit for, but that mean he was at that point. I don't even know if he'd even been contacted yet. It seems like that came later on, and I could be wrong.
As far as I understand, that was the first contact or known where he was, spoke to aliens allegedly, but the way he pitched the show Star Trek to the networks was exactly that. He called it a wagon train to the stars. And all of the networks said the same thing to him: lose the lady first officer and get rid of the devil guy with the ears. And he didn't do that. He did exactly the opposite. He took the lady first officer and made her the head nurse of the entire ship, and then he took the devil guy and made him second in command of the entire ship. So
yeah, but they did change the way Spock looks somewhat. They softened him, I guess.
In the first pilot, he smiles. If you watch the menagerie,
he does.
He several times. If you watch the menagerie where they cut the first pilot called The Cage into the new series with Kirk, you can see several times where Spock smiles and laughs. So
because I don't think they had made up their mind at that point.
Well,
if he was going to have emotions.
Leonard to decide the backstory on his Spock character, and at some point before, after the first one was filmed and before they filmed the second pilot, he had decided to make Spock the stoic, non-emotional mathematician.
No, that was Captain Pike. Yes, the original actor was not Kirk, not the guy who played Kirk, not William Shatner. There was a different actor, and he was playing Captain Pike.
Famous.
Yeah, he's a famous actor. I can't think of his name right now, but
Jeffrey Hunter.
Yeah, and
Jeffrey Hunter.
he actually played in other stuff, and he was good. I'm not exactly
very good
sure.
actor.
You know, I don't know why they went with William. You know, he was
Well,
prettier.
what happened was Jeffrey just wanted to do the pilot. He didn't want to do a series. But
Well, I bet you
when
gonna
the
kick yourself in
pilot,
the ass for
the
that.
first pilot was canceled, they gave Roddenberry another lump sum of money, and they said make a new one. So at that point, they asked Jeffrey Hunter. He said, "No, I want to make movies." So he bowed out. He didn't like the project. That's on. And he said later on in interviews he wished he had stayed with it. But
No,
he
I
was
bet you
also
he does.
he wasn't the first Enterprise captain either. He was the second captain of the Enterprise.
He's he just well. What's that? No. We're not talking about Enterprise XX or SXX or whatever the hell it is. Prototype Enterprise. That's what it was. It was a prototype. That's why it's got those particular letters mean prototype. It doesn't matter anytime you hear them talking about Star Trek, something new. Matter of fact, in Voyager, when they go to get to Prometheus, you'll notice the last three letters are the same as the annex, NXX or whatever it is.
It's
That's
NXX,
yeah, that's
NX,
what,
just NX.
Yeah, that's what they do for their prototypes. Yeah. Just to let whoever know it's a prototype. That's all.
X stands for experimental.
Yeah, I didn't make the rules. That's them. Oh no! When I was a kid, my mom bought me all the Star Trek manuals and books. I knew more about that shit than any.
How about if I explain the whole numbers for everybody? So the whole numbers, everyone always wonders what NCC stands for. It stands for Naval Construction Contract. The United Federation or the Starfleet is based off of naval traditions with some Air Force elements, but NCC is the contract for that ship's hull, which is hull number 1701, the Enterprise, or 1703, the Lexington. NX stands for Naval Experimental Hull Number, whatever the hull number is. So NX 2000 was the Excelsior. The Voyager's like NX 74865239. It's like pi.
Yeah, it is something crazy.
It's like 7 numbers long. I was like, come on, 4 numbers, 3 numbers. Give us a break, you know?
Yeah, start recycling the numbers.
You know, if they had used Jenny's number, NX 8675309, boom, I'd know it, but I don't.
Yeah, they just
phone numbers in a nutshell.
Yeah, well, I think no, you're talking about the series number. It was like NX 1 or 5 or some shit. It was very few numbers. Whatever it was. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen Enterprise. It's been a while. Yeah, well, the only problem with Enterprise is the tech on it was better than the tech on on Kirk's Enterprise.
Well, on any of the spin-offs, I mean, Next Generation, Voyager, DS9, the cartoon, for crying out loud, in the decade after, in the 70s, the actual cartoon, which is considered the actual second season because most of the voice actors are the stars of the original series, including Kirk himself.
Yep, Kirk did.
I think the only one that didn't get back was George and Walter are the only two that didn't get back.
Yes.
Walter,
Walter went on to better. Walter went on to do other stuff, but I never did see George in anything other than Star Trek. I mean, I'm sure he was. I just didn't see him.
The two of them made a lot of guest star appearances on like Barnaby Jones and other, the cop shows of the time.
Yeah, but I seen Walter playing a couple of the series. And one of them was Babylon 5. Well, he played Vesta was a good. Who would have known that little shit could play some asshole? Oh, excuse my language, people. Some butthole like that, man. But he's something else. No, he's a telepath. He's a psychop, actually, in that particular series. Yes, he's not the guy you've seen on Star Trek. Is all I can tell you. Yeah, he's just not. I mean, coming to throwing people out into space, man. He's just not the same guy. I was surprised when I seen him. I was surprised he could actually act. That's what surprised me. I mean, I was kind of like, wow, dude can act.
He's a very cool dude. I haven't actually been able to encounter or meet Walter, but I heard he's a very nice fella. George, I hear, this is back in the day. I don't know if he still does this, but when he was at a convention, he jogged every morning at like 6 a.m. and jogged like 2 or 3 miles around the hotel area. And I never tried it, but it's been said if you were in the hotel lobby when he went out and jogged with him, he'd buy you breakfast if you kept up with him the whole time. So that's pretty cool. They're very neat, nice guys playing superheroes but in real life, I've talked to the guy who played Scotty, who's passed. He was very nice. I've spoken to the guy who played Q. He was very cool, and my God, he is really tall. I mean, he's like 6'7", 6'8". He is a giant man.
Yeah, he is super tall.
But he is a super nice
Seen him.
dude.
He was at one of the gala events when I was out in LA. I didn't get to meet him.
But so
I was introduced to Walter by one of the Dragon Con people, not this
cool.
past one I went to, but the one before I went to introduced me to him. He was pretty laid back, actually. I would tell you something else, but I'm sure it's a secret. He don't want anybody to know, so I ain't going to.
Well, I've gotten to see all of the original cast live in person, except for Captain Kirk at the first convention I went to. But then going through conventions in the time since then, one time I was standing there talking with my friends, and coming down the escalator, I could see, my friends were looking the other way, is the guy Jimmy Doohan who plays Scotty, and I'm like, dudes, look. I'm trying to like whisper, turn around, he's coming this way. But he walks right. Cool. Jimmy Doohan, like you would never expect to see this guy coming down the escalator, but here he comes walking right towards me, and he goes, "Hey, where are the dealers' rooms?" And I said, "They're right there." And I said, "Well, they're about to close, sir, but if you go to that door that guy just closed, I guarantee you they'll let you in." He's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's you." He's like, "You're right." So he walked over to the door. We just saw the guy close the last door for the dealer's room. Jimmy knocks on the door opens. Mr. Scott goes in to go buy whatever he wanted to, and he was in there by himself for however long those dealers wanted him to be there. How cool would have that? I would have loved to have been one of the dealers at that point.
I know, huh?
Yeah, cool.
It's one of those nice things. I met where did I meet Kirk? Was that oh God, this was when he first started coming back and doing it, because he got pissed for a while. He wouldn't do any conferences. He felt like he got well, I guess he felt like he got typecast. Because I remember when he went and did T.J. Hooker, and people were asking about Star Trek, and he was pretty nasty about it. He was kind of like, "Leave me alone. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go to any conferences or anything."
Well, there's
like
the famous SNL skit that Bill Shatner actually is part of, and he yells at the crowd, "What is wrong with you people? Get a life." He actually said that to the crowd.
He did.
Yeah.
He got tired of it. People
and
constantly
they parodied that on SNL, and it's parodied again if you watch Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, it is. It's parodied on Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
Galaxy, what are you talking about, Christopher? No. Galaxy Quest is Star Trek. No, you can say whatever 100%. You want. It's a complete ripoff of Star Trek. Yeah. Nobody denies it. No, nobody denies it's what it is. Ask Tim Allen. He'll tell you. But you can ask producers that no one tried to say this wasn't. I just got to see. I had never seen Sigourney dressed like that before. I was like, damn, Sigourney, you actually fill out some clothes here, girl. Hey, Mike, how you doing, babe? It's Sigourney was kind of hot. I was kind of surprised. I've only ever seen in the movies Aliens where she's all covered in gook. Who wants to see that shit? Yeah. She's always kind of good. Oh, you know what I did see her and I liked is oh no, that was Jamie Lee White. No, that was her. Who was it? Was in with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the spy movie? That was Jamie Lee.
Stone.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
No, I know Sharon Stone. Sharon Stone's skanky. She was Jamie Lee. Yeah. She is a skank too. She's also, well, I can't talk about it on this show. Ask me Friday cool. If she's a skank. I'll tell you why she's a skank on Friday night. I can't tell y'all here. Sorry, guys.
It's hard to get a skank though because they're always busy. You know what I mean?
Smelling up the place, apparently.
We've all been there.
See, you ever noticed that aliens don't abduct skanky people? Why is that? Do they know better or something?
They don't like
it. I mean,
do they have a nose? Do they have a little blowholes in their nose? Right?
Certain species of rats can detect defects in its potential partners and decide not to mate with that one for fear of having immature or bad babies. So maybe that's why they don't go with skanks. They're looking for strictly a particular.
Oh, I didn't even see Juan and Christopher in the chat room. I'm going blind. Hey guys, if y'all still there. Nancy Lee. Nancy, where you writing in from, baby? Y'all know I'm going to ask you when you send stuff to my messengers. You just might as well say where you're from. Nice. Paris. I mean Nice. I'm sorry, I didn't mean Paris. Nice, France.
East France, yeah.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah,
Nice. Well, hey,
Bend over, Ohio.
Jesus, what is it like 3 in the morning there? 4 in the morning there, huh?
They're
4:39.
addicted. They gotta listen. What's up in
Well,
France?
good effing more. I know. UFO Undercover's got a late night listening
Ashante,
audience in you.
y'all.
What can we do for you? Huh? L'Espontace Roulette, sweetie. What can we do for you? What do you mean? I know how to speak French. Everybody in New Orleans knows how to speak
Everyone
that.
in New Orleans.
It's L'Espontace Roulette, baby. We all know that. Trust me. We know a lot more words than that too. A lot of French, but a lot of them words aren't real French. So we're not going to go there. Anyway, wait. So you think you're an abductee? You know what? I don't have a director in France yet, but why don't you do this? Go by the iCross site, take the abduction questionnaire, fill it out, send it to me, and then write me personally at icar@cox.net and tell me about it, and we'll talk about it. Well, we only got 30 minutes left tonight, so it'd be hard to get into it. But I mean, who? Oh, so yes, I know who you're talking about. I don't want to say her name on air, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. She was a good friend of mine. I haven't talked to her in years, though. I think she was forced into retirement, which is something we could talk about in a private conversation, but not here. No, she was forced into retirement. Yeah, she was one of the best people I ever worked with, and she was my freelance director for a long time. So she's referring you. Well, we'll send it along with you. Yeah, just send it along with you. Yeah, that works. So what made you even think? What are you talking about? You started getting home before you leave. You're going to have to go into detail. I got an idea of what you're talking about. So you remember being places and doing things, but you hadn't actually done them yet because you were still at home. And then all of a sudden you did them, but you were at home. No, it sounds like you're being taken and being put back. So it sounds like they took you.
The vodka.
And it could be the vodka, but it also could be that they took you. Yeah, and they got these things they like to do, so they could have dropped you back 30 minutes before they actually took you. That way, building up to the time they took you, you were probably feeling antsy and strained. Yeah.
Like I told you about that weird experience I had up in Lake George, man. I was in this hotel, and I remember looking at the clock. It was almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and this bright light came through the window, and I stayed in a hotel. I was on, outside that window is an amusement park, but it wasn't open yet. And then there was a road way back there. So I was like, it's probably just some truck coming down the road or something like that. Even though I didn't see any other headlights. All of a sudden I wake up. It's like a couple minutes to 5 o'clock in the morning. And I slept for over 4 hours. I never sleep for over 4 hours. I don't know what the hell happened. And I felt like I wasn't even there. It was a very weird experience, man. But who knows?
Man,
if they abduct me, they better get an extra large ship. Because I think that some of them are only 6 feet long. I need something big. Send me that tanker. Take me away. Me and my cat, take us away. We'll go get you, Joe. And we'll get Jay. We'll rescue everybody off this planet and go.
So what's this? UFO in mid-air collision with plane off coast of Florida.
See?
What?
When they don't know how to fly.
Hold on. You got to throw that up. We got to see that. I want to debunk that right here on the air.
Hold on. I got to switch over. I'm on Explorer instead of Googly. So what do y'all think about Zuckerberg? We're going to be talking about Zuckerberg on Friday. People going to want to come by and listen.
Oh.
We got a lot to say about Uncle Zucky.
Did you just say Zuckerberg?
Yeah, Zuckerberg. He's a Zuckerberg. Yeah, I wrote that on somewhere in chat on Facebook the other day, and it got all over the place. And then I noticed when I came back, it was changed on my page to Zuckerberg. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Did they just come change this? So I wrote it again, and I told everybody what happened. And everybody said, well, it's Zuckerberg now. I said, yeah, I know. So I put it back, and it was changed again. They don't like you calling him Zuckerberg.
Gotta say prayers for California, man. That's what happens when you that the mayor of LA took $17 million out of the budget for the fire department.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking about that Friday too, man. We're gonna
Look what happened. It's incredible what's going on there right now. 100-mile-an-hour winds, just blowing all the flames everywhere. Everybody's home is burning down. I mean, a lot of famous people, their homes burned down in Malibu and all that.
Oh, I know. What is it, the pallet? What do they call it? The Palisades? I'm saying it wrong.
Palisades. Everyone's getting it though. Like on every level, low to high. You think it was not just like the famous people, but it's terrible, terrible.
Deep,
and you know what's even worse?
What has Newsom said about it?
I was watching live, and you hear the fire departments on the radio begging for resources and begging for more firemen. And they're like, please, there was blocks that had no fire trucks, houses on fire. And then the guy on the radio is like, we have no resource for you. It's just about evacuations at this point. After
what? Dickhead said, excuse my language again, people. I'm not used to talking like that show. After what's the name sent all them. Anyway, we can't talk about that here anyway. It's politics.
They took millions away from the police.
Can't talk about that
and the fire department.
We'll just start getting a bunch of hate mail from this crowd. The crowd listen to us tonight. They don't like politics. They will just send us nothing but hate mail.
Oh, this is a UFO.
Yeah, they won't.
I heard
they'll be man.
Because I'm in a great mood.
What the hell is this?
Let me pass
UFO
that on.
People gotta have a heart
through the TV screen here, through the
right, let's see. Where is this?
Phone or iPad.
Whatever. Who are
those
you?
alphabet people, man?
Pilots, former fighter pilots who testified with David Grush and David Fravor. Remember back in July 2023, right? He's still on the scene. And he put out a tweet that I do want to cover because apparently as he's putting it, a new whistleblower came forward detailing an aircraft, a private plane.
This guy looks like he's on crack
took off
Look at his
from
eyes,
Florida, South Florida, and encountered
Dude,
an
lucky
object
we're not on
that
Friday night. Is all I can
literally made contact with, and parts of it got stuck in his aircraft. Okay, in part of the engine. We'll get to all the details here in a moment. They had to turn back around and land. And so let's just jump into the details.
Yeah,
of this,
let's
y'all.
jump into the
But
details.
before we do that, real quick, okay, I just have a quick channel announcement. Please, I'm going to put a link in the description for a new vetted channel that we have called Vetted Clips. I'm trying to get that up in subscribers. So we have hired Daniel, who was our head mod, to help run the Vetted Clips, and he's been putting up these amazing clips from there. So I really need to get.
Shut up.
Yes, thank you.
If you like pina coladas.
Sorry, I told him to shut up.
Well, I told him shut up, and it went all the way back to the beginning.
Anyway,
who is that dude?
I have no idea. Patrick the moron, apparently, is what it sounds like to me. And then it's going to go to commercial. What kind of BS is this, man?
Well, if it's clickbait,
let's go back to the video, man. No, I seen the airplane a minute ago.
Look,
there it is right there. See, there's the plane. For some reason, this idiot, though. Okay, let's go see. Let's put it back.
I would do a grain of salt when it comes to guys like that, man.
Ready, go.
I don't think he has any information.
Okay, Ryan Graves. I don't know who this guy is. Blah, 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 blah.
Thanks for...
December 11th, approximately 27,000 feet. Yeah, it shows the plane in a little bit. There are indications that an unidentified object may have been a drone operate. Oh, come on, a drone, dude. You drove us through this freaking drone.
A drone at 27,000 feet. Yeah, I don't think we have drones that aren't military that go that high.
Yeah, we got drones that'll fly that high, but we don't have.
But not non-military ones.
Yeah, not that something that's going to run into an airplane. That's for damn sure. Somebody be, let's see.
No, I'll tell you about the consumer market, man. People can get whatever they want these days. So.
Common objects because
remember when we talked about these drones when they first started using drones? I said it's going to be a huge problem in the future, man. That was just a couple of years ago. Bang. Here we are.
Well, we knew drones were going to be a pain in the ass. All right, enough of this guy. We're moving on.
That's right. That's right, man.
Come on, dude. Move on. We ain't got enough time to be playing.
Back to the alphabet, people.
That plane then has to divert back and land, make an emergency.
It's not the kind of mic you need to
landing
to shove in your mouth to talk.
And when they
it's
check
the
engine, they don't find any sort of
because you don't know how to turn the
they find metallic
volume
pieces
up in the
within
mic.
this, right?
He's crazy.
So look, we've got
we gotta get up there like this. Hey
on
baby,
this,
how you
and
doing?
Ryan
Oh,
answers some
mama,
questions.
tonight.
So the first comment asks, was there any debris from the metal object left in the plane that could undergo analysis to help determine the source? Thanks for everything you do. Ryan Graves. Yes.
Well,
a safe landing after an engine failure only is considered an accident if the cowling is damaged or punctured, being substantial enough to of a substantial
on my nerves. Shut up.
Went on Reddit under a different subreddit for flight tracking and whatever, and they were kind of looking at this, and someone had made a little video, screen recording.
People write this guy and tell him he's an idiot.
And the object strikes, and they.
I love this. This is one of the things I always tell people to get. If you're going to be a UFO chaser, you need to have this program.
And according to the Aviation Safety Network, right here, which you can
see,
I
use Airport Monitor too, but there's other programs
described.
Flight Tracker's good. There's a few of them that are good.
Officially, right? And I think this is what Ryan was getting at. According to this, the narrative is the aircraft struck a bird or UAS, and post-flight inspection revealed damage to the right engine cowling.
Well, wait, what's a UAS?
Right. And look, I found some pictures of the actual plane, okay, because they put the registration number of the plane. So I found the actual plane, and as you can see in this photo, right, this is the engine cowling they're talking about right here. Somewhere in this area, this, an object went in and hit it. Which kind of helps you determine the size of it, right? Clearly, it didn't just take off the whole engine; it went inside, so it was small enough to fit.
Oh wait, it got sucked up inside the engine.
And well, I couldn't find the exact.
Dude, do you have any idea? Look, do you have any idea what's going to happen? Something sucked up inside of an engine
is 25 feet. So it's probably
I have no
10% of it. Probably three.
All right, we're out of here. This guy's an idiot. I can't waste my time with idiots. I don't know where he lives, but he's an idiot. He's a New Yorker, man. Them New Yorkers are weird like that.
Yeah. He's not.
And people wonder why no one likes to report these kinds of things, because you have idiots like that who do this kind of ridiculous reporting.
Takes away credibility from actual people who know what the hell they're talking about.
Credibility.
But I don't think the idiot realized what he said. Oh, it went inside of it. So, okay, now let's be honest. If it went inside and managed to get out of it, it's probably some ET shit, because I don't know if we even got anything in the military that can do that. But most things, when it gets that close to turbines, getting sucked up, what's going to happen? It's going to hit the turbines. It's going to get shredded and shot out the back. Usually it will shut down the engine, may even cause the engine to explode.
Usually it's a bird.
Yeah, birds will shut down the engine. It won't usually cause them to explode, but it'll break the turbines and make them shut down. Or sometimes it'll send the turbines flying out the side of the engine. So I've seen that happen before. So just put this in perspective for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start any jet, and Air Force does this too, they still do this in civilian life. Before you start any jet, first thing you do is you have someone dive the ducts. So they get in the duct and they reach around and they feel all around there just to make sure there's nothing the size of like a pea, because even a little bitty rock the size of a pea can shut that big ass engine down.
And they say clear.
Just get it in. Yeah, because it's spinning so fast. Yeah. So you check them all, and then they have this thing called a huffer. You hook up to the side of it. And all the huffer does is blow a lot of air. It makes the turbine spin.
You see a lot of times people get sucked in.
There's another thing too. Any birds that are inside the cowling will be scared off or whooshed away.
You see a lot of times that people who work at airports get sucked into those engines all the time, and they're told don't go near there. If it's running, don't go near it.
No, there's a zone. There's usually lines painted.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Just to put in perspective, I'm watching a clip this morning. Guy's got one of them trucks. He's going by one of the engines. One of the planes is just parked. And he don't have the boxes, the wooden boxes strapped down on the truck he's driving by. He drives by, just sucks one up, spits it through the engine, blows the whole side of the engine off. It's we shared one the other day coming back from Dallas Fort Worth, 2-engine jet, sucked up a seagull of all things, tore the engine apart. They were panicking because they thought it was going to tear the wing off the plane because it did so much damage to the engine. And then the passengers are worried because the guy videotaping. He says it keeps catching on fire. It keeps catching on fire. The pilot's just trying to land this damn thing. But you can see whoever the pilot was, the plane wasn't jerking around or flopping around. The guy had it under control. But still, that shit happens, and it don't take.
It was a bird strike, man. That's what happened to that plane that crashed that landed in the Hudson. It was a bird strike. Takes off in the water.
Well, luckily, most planes with more than one engine, they can maintain loftiness enough to find safe harbor.
If you're hitting a big flock of birds, a couple hundred birds, man. I mean, you're going to encounter.
That's why most airports have bird chasers. or different things to chase off birds.
I used to be one, man. I got hired at JFK. They gave me an orange vest and this big orange thing, and I used to go out. Birds, go away, birds, go away.
Well, they got some sophisticated drones that do that shit now.
Except that I got sucked into a motor. So.
Hey, look, it
didn't work out.
I spent several years around jet engines. It's dangerous. I mean, it's the only way I can put it.
But be out there.
Jets and people, fighter jets in general are just dangerous. I mean, there's so many things in a damn jet that could kill you by accident. It's not even.
How much does a fighter jet weigh? About 10, 20,000 pounds, something like that. You got this thing being launched off the deck, going from 0 to what? 500 miles an hour in a split second. Yeah, that's very dangerous.
So you can tell if they're like at 300, they'll dip a little bit at the end when they come off. If they're running like almost close to 440 when they come off, shit, they just and they going. It just depends what plane it is.
F-35 just takes off vertically. Zoop.
But they don't. But they try not to use the vertical takeoffs on F-35 unless they have to. They're not. I mean, they use and they work great, but there's more shit that can blow apart.
I would be going to McDonald's in that thing. Just kind of drop it down and hey, give me those chicken McNuggets.
Come down, turn it sideways, open the canopy.
How much gas I'm wasting right now? Hurry! Hurry! No, man. You know what? Helicopters would be my thing. If I was in the military, that's my thing, man. Apaches, especially. Oh my god.
Jets and car, man. Jets and car. You drive up, you park, you hit a button, it turns into a briefcase. You walk inside, you get your burger, and then you eat and you leave.
I love an Apache, man. It's so wicked just to see.
Speaking of that, these effing helicopters around here. This morning, I'm sitting in the back with the dogs. I hear when you hear that deep chop like that, you know they low. Man, it comes over, my air conditioner starts vibrating, the pictures on my wall start vibrating, the dishes in the sink start vibrating. They come in between me, and sometimes they come in low enough that they're actually below the heights of both the houses. We're both at 22 feet off the ground.
Then you hear a voice from above.
I've got them on video. I've actually posted pictures.
Joel Montaldo.
Not only have I posted pictures, you could see the guy's name on his freaking name.
You want help with your website, Joe?
They're not here for me. It's just a CB base, and Keesler Air Force Base is up the road, and they run missions through here because this is the least amount of houses, even though some of the wealthiest people in freaking coast live around.
Well, don't they have like a deck where they can't fly under, like 500 feet or something like that on there?
No, if you're within, I think it's 20 miles of the base, they can fly whatever height they want because it could, for whatever reason. When we're going to war here, all of a sudden out of nowhere, you will see jet fighters all up in the skies, helicopters, they'll be all over the place playing war games. They'll come zipping through. They'll zip through so fast that damn trees bend over as they're going by. It's insane what they do.
I've got Lockheed Martin over here, and
and then we got NASA down the street from there.
They train helicopter people, so they have their flight plan. They fly over, and you hear them once in a while.
Yeah, that's another thing. You hear these real loud booms, and sometimes you just hear this. It sounds like a jet engine in your backyard. What it is when NASA's testing engines up the street here at Stennis, it sounds like they're in your backyard.
Remember that time? My other house, it was on the flight path for Ithaca Airport, right? And then one night, the whole house started shaking, boom, 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 and I heard something, but I didn't hear something. And then I look up in the sky, and it's this crazy blue light, and it's a helicopter. It was one of those silent helicopters that they had, Navy SEALs or whatever, they used them to go after Bin Laden. And then I watched it fly over, and it was like 92% silent. Yeah, you really couldn't hear. It didn't sound like a helicopter. It sounded like anything but that thing was just beautiful, man. And they land here. Well, they land in Ithaca to refuel.
So what was that TV series about the helicopter?
Airwolf.
Yeah, Airwolf. Oh yeah, there was that.
Ernest Borgnine, one of the scariest guys alive. He's dead.
Jan Michael Vincent, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jan Michael Vincent. He's a weirdy too, man. I like him, but he was like, you could tell that the guy, like, he's not someone you probably could hang out with.
Oh, man. So a friend of mine the other day, I'm online, and he said, I don't know why they won't make a series about a submarine. I said, dude, they've made 2 that I know of. He's like, no. He said, No, I bet you might. I said, dude, they've made two that I know. I said, they got an old one, which was Seawolf. And I said, don't forget about the new one that was Star Trek Underwater, Deep Submersible Sequest. I said, I said, Sequest was just Star Trek Underwater is what it was.
Wasn't there other ones too?
Yeah, there was other ones besides that. That's just the most two prominent ones, but there was other ones besides that. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And then there was a couple other series, and there was something out of some series, another one out of World War II that came on. There's a lot of that weird stuff.
Operation Petticoat, man. Remember that one where they had a pink submarine, and then they had Tony Curtis was like just this guy, a grifter, basically somebody that had no belonging on a submarine.
Mr. Tony Curtis, smartest man in the world, forgot until he died, I guess. What was it, 210 IQ? I know people.
That was
shows
a fun
you just
movie.
because you got a huge IQ don't mean you're going to be a millionaire.
I mean, everybody's in that movie. So funny, but
yeah, it was like the old airplane movies and what was that one, the car, and then they had the Cannonball Runs. They always had a bunch of cameo stars.
Cannonball Run and Cannonball Run 2, Smokey and the Bandit 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, they always had a bunch of cameos.
They don't like playing Cannonball Run 1 for some reason. I have it on disc, but I noticed that you can get number 2, but you can't get 1. Because 1 was much more not politically correct,
Yeah.
But it was real. It was real. You know what I mean? Like, and people are real. And
yeah,
the whole politically correctness.
You got an alcoholic doctor with a needle that he keeps injecting people with, like at random. So I mean, it's
Farrah Fawcett on top of that.
Yeah, she's in there.
I don't know. The movie was just a goofy movie. What are you talking about, Karen? Oh, that was.
You know what was cool about it, dude? It was cool to see all those famous actors do something like that, and just like they're having a good time. They're making a movie, and they're all kind of cool. And so big names. I mean, every big name you could think of.
It's also the first. It's the first appearance of Jackie Chan in an American-made movie.
Second one, you got Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, you had Frank Sinatra.
You had everybody there, mommy. I mean, that was they were just, and a lot of those movies they did those cameos in. No, not Battlestar Galactica.
That was they were very
Buckaroo good. Banzai, Martha.
I like the old Battlestar Galactica, and I like the new Battlestar Galactica.
Well, the new one, it's a good show, but
the new one can. I can't say on this show what the new one can do.
I watched for the girl.
It was very predictable.
It was first off, this first rule of sci-fi. If you break this rule of sci-fi, your series will never ever be successful. If you're too stupid to realize you need comedy in sci-fi, get out to business. Because
you know where you're wrong. You know where you're wrong. A show called Red Dwarf, an English show.
Red Dwarf had comedy in it. I watched Red Dwarf. It had comedy in it.
Yeah, sci-fi, but one of the funniest shows you'll ever see in your life.
That
show, oh my God. The first time
I watched it.
Dying, man.
I also watched Blake 7, which they came on back to back for some reason. I guess because they were British TV. But
yeah,
it's funny you guys mentioned that. My friend on Facebook, Joe Harrisman, he's a professional costume maker. That's how he makes his living still, even today. He made the costumes for the American versions of Red Dwarf and Blake 7.
Wow.
It's because BBC put them on there, and actually Blake 7's what turned me on to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It was one of the actors kept talking about. I'm like, Doctor what, and I came in on Doctor 4, right at the beginning of when he took over. So he'll always be my favorite Doctor. I like all the doctors. Yeah, they all got something to offer. They're all a little on the retarded side, yes, and that's a bad word, but you mean the guy right now? Net I don't know how you say his name. Net Tui or something? Yeah. No, he seems all right. I mean he's I don't know about this bio splitting the two doctors, but hey, at least there's more than one doctor now. I don't know what to tell you. And the doctor, before we move on to something else, how in the hell is Dr. Donna the most famous companion or the most liked companion? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the series where she's a Dr. Donna, but and I've watched this like 5 different times now. They've done these things of who's the favorite companion because they go through all the companions, not just the new ones. Because the new ones don't always pan out as well as some of the older ones did. Why is the Dr. Donna number 1? She was a doofy redhead. Did I miss something? I liked Amy better.
Redhead women are fiery, man. You gotta love that. Fire. You know
oh yeah,
don't
hold
mess
on.
with me.
Let me look because we got about 6 minutes. So let me look right quick.
Pick that. What that Lorena Bobbitt shit right there.
I know Lorena, banana, baby,
Lorena
banana, Lorena.
Yeah, she cut that guy's penis off and went for a ride. Cuts his penis off, puts it.
Hey, save it for Friday.
I'm just saying, she puts it in a person, then drives down the street, then throws it out the window, and there's a guy walking down the street who finds it. And how do you wrap your brain around that? And when you find something like that, and then you realize you got to call 911 and report that you found a penis on the ground. Oh my God. So yeah, Friday. You want to tune in? You want to hear all about that? Tune in on Friday.
Okay. Yes, Jesse Curtis, you got it right. So in the books, okay, Planet of the Apes, the planet was not Earth. He was talking about it was a different planet. It was actually a planet of apes. It wasn't us that screwed up everything and it changed. It was actually a different world than this one. That's why I guess so many people who had read the book when they seen what's his name, Charleston Heston, is that his name? When he stood there, when he stood there and looked at the Statue of Liberty, everybody was kind of like, "Wait, what? It's supposed to be a different world." I guess that could have been a parallel, but still,
I don't believe
it's not supposed to be.
Otherwise, Statue of Liberty would have been a monkey, and it wasn't. So
that's what I'm saying. That's why they're saying they changed it. No, and there's no one can tell you why they changed it. I don't know why they did that.
Because it made it more impactful. Like when they said Silent Green is people, like, you know what I mean? It makes it more impactful. Story. Impact. Especially Charlton Heston.
No, Jesse. Soylent Green is a movie. You can go watch it. Yeah, it's a whole movie about how they take people and turn them into food.
And I've decided that I'm going to watch
what is it? Little green wafers, isn't it? Yeah,
I've decided that I have to watch.
Well, all the food is wafers. There's Soylent Red, Soylent Blue, and some people like one color versus another. But when Soylent Green comes out, everybody wants it because it's like readily available, but they don't know what it is until they find out.
Again, it was Jesse Curtis, one from Miami. So I'll send you the book. I see you got your information over. So Jesse, thanks for you. Yeah,
but Donnie Darko was really about time travel, about insanity and time travel and teenage pains. But I'm gonna have to watch it again because it'll make more sense the second time. It's one of those movies that you have to watch again because it makes more sense the second time you watch it. You're like,
somebody was trying to talk me into watching A Clockwork Orange again the other day. I'm like, nope. And they're like, "Why?" I said, "It was stupid first time I watch. It's gonna be stupid the second time I watch it." I said, "No,
too violent, man. It's not my style. That thing." When I saw it, I was like, "Man, I never watched it all the way through." I got to the point where I'm like, "This isn't." Nothing good will come from it with me watching.
What are you talking about? 2001 or 2010? No, 2010 was supposed to explain 2001.
Yeah, right.
Well, it didn't do that good of a job of it.
Well, you had Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider
is a very tell it like it is, shark killing kind of guy.
Yeah, he was the captain of the Sequest.
Yeah. That's the guy you want. That's tell it like it is.
Him and his dolphin.
You could he's there for you type of dude.
No, Jesse Sequest. I'm telling you, you could just look up Sequest, and it's just really fancy dancy modern submarine. It's Star Trek of the ocean is what it is.
The end of 2001 and the end of Interstellar are two of the most boring ends of movies you'll ever see in your entire life. You have to be wigged out on something to watch that and really sit still for the.
I couldn't. I don't know. I couldn't watch Interstellar, so I
can't do it. Can't do it, man.
And 2001, I watched it one time.
I think he's a great actor, but the end of Interstellar, the whole movie should never have been done. But the end of it, oh my God, it was horrible. No, it was horrible.
Curtis, what series or TV show would I say best represents alien abduction? Ooh, that's. Well, I'll tell you this. Steven Spielberg's that miniseries he did, Taken. About half of that is probably real stuff in that series. Easily. That's why Jay and I were talking about it earlier. He was either an abductee or contactee himself, or he was really close to
it. Or both.
What about that video?
Or both. It might be both.
Alien?
Paul Alien's just funny. It's he's what Paul's supposed to be. He's supposed to be J-Rod. That's who Paul's supposed to be. The guy who wrote it said that's who he is. It's J-Rod.
Yeah.
It's funny. If you don't know who J-Rod is, look it up, people.
What about the alien on American?
I don't believe it. There's a lot of stuff I don't believe in because the government does a lot of misinformation. It's easier to keep these stupid ufologists running around in circles, looking at stuff that just isn't. Because what I've learned since I've been doing this for 42 years is there's a progression. And if it's not inside that progression or following that progression, it's probably not real. It's probably disinformation. And there are a lot of people in the field that are disinformation people. There's a lot of famous people in the field that do disinformation.
Yeah.
Well, probably the most famous one you would know would be Doty. What's his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember his whole name now. But
I can picture his face.
Yeah, but he was a big ufologist, and then one day he just came out and said he worked for the government. He was a disinformation agent.
Yeah. Richard C. Doty.
Richard Doty, and he's not the only one. There's other people out there that are just it's like so we'll talk about this real quick, but I know we're out of time. So I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with Rendlesham Forest case. Rendlesham is interesting because there's three different sets of witnesses.
Yep.
There's Larry Warren, who is a witness all to himself. Then there is Colonel Halt, and then there is James Pennison and what's the other guy? I can't remember the other guy's name, but anyway, it's those three sets of witnesses, plus some soldiers that were running around who had said something. So Larry talks about some of the stuff that happened to him in great detail. He gets into some of the things that happened to him. John Penniston and I can't remember the other guy's name. Anyway, their story turned into this big elaborate thing that the aliens had turned out to be time traveling and all kinds of stuff. And Halt just says it was an event that happened, but now, or Halt at one point was leaning towards maybe he had been taken or something. But then he kind of leaned back to no, it was just some kind of thing that happened. Larry has no doubt that he was taken and that things went on. Jim Burroughs and John Penniston, that's the other two. Yeah. They were also people who worked there. They were also soldiers working at night. And they said all kind of stuff. And then as time went on, their stories got more advanced until they became time travelers. So anytime that story progresses like that, you know it's a lot. Yeah, because a lot of things, they were put under a lot of questioning right after this happened. And we're not talking about just from ufologists. They were questioned by U.S. military interrogators. So the stories
when people's stories
they were
fine-tune over time. It's one thing if it's unfolding in their mind, they remember more about the experience. It's another thing if they have time to put stories together and make it add details.
Think about this: all of these U.S. officers were overseas on British territory on a base lent to us by our friends. So guarantee you those men were not questioned by military intelligence. They were questioned by the CIA, bare minimum.
Men in Black, baby.
They were seriously questioned. They were held for a while and seriously questioned.
I wouldn't even call it questioned, Joe. I would say interrogated.
That's what I said in the beginning. Was interrogated. That's what originally said was interrogation. They were done by military interrogators. They really think that whatever went on. Because first they tried to say it was a what light?
Lighthouse. Yeah.
Lighthouse. I was going to say outhouse. Sorry, guys. They were going to say it was a lighthouse light, and then they said they found tripod markings where it landed, and then one of them said they seen it, and they landed, and it touched it. But anyway, we don't have enough time to get into all the stories. But eventually, Halt just kind of got angry. John and Jim, they both just got off in Fairyland, and Larry just got off and let me make some money land. And
all right, I want to talk about something really serious right now before
2 seconds, man.
So Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, who was thinking about that, and why the hell they do it? And every time I see him, I'm like, you know what? They could have had Patrick Swayze. Imagine a Patrick Swayze Luke Skywalker.
Patrick was too old.
No. He was just in that same age range. He got the look. He's got the body. He's a martial artist, man. He would have excelled. He's a serious.
Patrick got his youngest
Mark
look
Hamill's a whiny little turd. Man.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
I
But they needed somebody.
Power converters. Yeah, that's not Anakin Skywalker's son.
But that's why George didn't go with him. He was unknown. He wanted all. The only person that had any acting experience in a major movie before any of them was Harrison Ford, and he had a bit role in American Graffiti. And the only reason why he got that was because he was hired as one of the guys to build the wooden sets in the construction.
I like Harrison Ford as Han Solo. They offered the same role to Mick Jagger, believe it or not. You know, can you imagine that? Hey, Chewie. White spade, Chewie.
Oh shit, that'd been too much. I don't think I could have took that.
I
did like the backstories in the movie Solo. I thought that was cool, some of the backstories, especially about Chewie. I thought those were kind of cool backstories. It also let you know how old the son of a bitch was.
200 and some years, yeah.
Yeah, he was up there, you know, and apparently other people lived for a long time.
Noah lived 900 years, man. So
or somebody named Noah lived 900 years.
200 years is nothing. It's not even a baby.
The Sumerians called him Ziu Sudra.
900 years. Mm-hmm. And they were like 10 feet tall. Explain that.
8 and 9 feet and 10 feet tall.
This stuff people don't think about. When people think about the Old Testament,
his grandfather Methuselah was like lived for 1,000 some odd years or 100,000 some odd years.
You say to yourself, you know, there's some details that are a little like, you know, questionable. We got to talk about that and sort it out, man. You know. So
there's some very weird UFO related stuff that there's evidence all over this planet, and you know the major governments of the world are trying to refute most of it. But for those of us that have any kind of, you know, just sense of knowledge, just plain common sense knowledge, if you look at some of these megalithical sites, you put the math together. I mean, there was a race here that was easily more advanced than us, and somehow it was destroyed.
Maybe not destroyed. Maybe it just went home.
Yeah, maybe it just was an extinction level event, but perhaps it wasn't. Perhaps it was some sort of an accident, or maybe there was a war in space, and they destroyed another object that came through our system, and the damage that it did was destroyed like 4 or 5 planets, including ours.
See, you got to think about the cosmic equation, which is our little human brains really have a hard time coming up with those concepts. But I mean, like look at Atlantis. A lot of people theorize that it was a ship, and then you know how like they say there's a large structure out just beyond the edge of our solar system, whatever hell it is, and then they can't see it yet, but it's a large. It looks like a you know, I'm gonna say man-made, but it ain't man-made, but a large structure. It's not a planet. It's not asteroids. It's nothing but a rock. It's a structure, and they think that it's a mega structure, and they also think that that's where all these signals are coming from there. You know, so I'm just saying, if you're gonna travel through space, you need a big ship, huge. It's got to be able to withstand impacts of all kinds of stuff going 25, 30,000 miles an hour flying through. You know what I mean? Asteroids and whatever, and you gotta have a reason to go. A reason like our reason to go in space is going to be mainly mining, going out and mining stuff. Bringing it back, and but I mean, what else is going to come from it? These are going to be pleasure cruises and whatever. Yeah. I'm saying, if a civilization came here 1 million years ago, if you take that report from the CIA about you know when they hired all those psychic mediums to do all that research on Mars, right, and then they came upon the conclusion that a bunch of people got into a ship because their civilization on Mars was failing. You know, those people on Mars were described as being so tall, 10 to 12 feet tall, and then living a long age. But this was the remote viewing that the CIA did. You can find it online. It's a declassified report. The CIA doesn't dispute it. So, and you can read it and get what you get out of it. But it's an agent handing an envelope to the medium with coordinates in it, and then they're saying what they see. You know, it's not even like you go to the Sidonia, you're going to go to this or that place, just an envelope with numbers. And then what do you see? And they were describing pyramids. They were describing these big, huge buildings that had tall people, modern looking clothing. And he said their civilization, something had happened and their civilization was dying and they had to go somewhere. And they were waiting to hear about a message. A ship left with a bunch of people on it. They went to a nearby planet. The only thing that was wrong was the planet. That was volcanic and it had all kinds of issues, but it had greenery and it had water, which is something that Mars was lacking in and losing. So they had to shift their species from one place to another. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. You know, with their technology or whatever. So then when people reference Noah, you're like when I think of that, I'm thinking extraterrestrial. I'm not thinking someone who was from this planet. And I'm thinking it was a million years ago because the Bible doesn't know how old anything is. You know, they can theorize 40 days, 40 nights, or a long amount of time, whatever, man. I'm saying if you put those, you know what hit me when I was watching this Noah movie and they're talking about pairs of animals. And I'm like, you know, are you sure they weren't talking about pairs of genes? You sure it wasn't some sophisticated bit that can manipulate science, DNA? I mean, ACTG are the only components to DNA. You can put them in any order. Give people blue eyes, brown hair, whatever, right? I'm saying if you have the right technology, you can synthesize those type of things. And human bodies are more like biological machines. So you have to look at things from that perspective.
But look at it from a different perspective. When you look at it from the archaeological perspective, they say those people didn't have that kind of technology.
Humans. But I'm talking about others.
They're like no. The Egyptians of the fourth pyramid, they built the pyramids. They didn't. They couldn't have. It's impossible. It's physically impossible. They didn't have the math. They didn't have the tools. It's impossible for them to have done it by themselves anyway. So they didn't do it alone. That's a fact.
I'm not talking about that.
On the other hand, then we also say, but then they have this. They must have had this technology. They must have, in order for the ark to work, must have had this technology. You can't have.
I'm talking about the original.
Just for the to save the soul from the flood.
But let's go back to the beginning, Adam and Eve, because that's where it all starts and everything you look at, right? And these are supposedly two people that made a choice to leave the Garden of Eden and come down to Earth to stake a civilization. If you put and Adam and Eve were whose grandparents was Methuselah, was whose grandfather was of Noah. So I mean, when you look down the chain, and Enoch, don't forget about Enoch, who was the grandfather of Methuselah, whatever. When you look down into that line, you're like, it's interesting, you know. I'm not going to make any claims, but I'm just saying that if you look at it scientifically and not religiously, you see a very interesting angle of, you know, maybe people, they came from somewhere else. I mean, there's genes that just popped up 50,000 years ago in our blood, you know, some of us anyway. I'm just saying that CIA report, there's no reason for the CIA to classify some stupid thing like that if it's not real. And if you read it, you can't read into it because it just is what it is. This guy, that agent says, okay, go back a million years and what do you see? That's when this psychic medium was like big buildings, you know, a lot of tall people, modern type of clothing, you know, like tall. And then he described them. Check this part out. He said he was in the room with one of them and they were looking out the window. The agent was like, do they know that you're there? And he said they're aware, but I think they think it's some kind of a figment of their imagination. So if this guy could take his ability and go back a million years and be physically enough in a place where something there is noticing him, that's freaking mind-boggling, man. The scientific, and if you talk quantum physics would be possible, you know. So there's a lot to this. As a puny brain human, I can only sit back and look at the information, man. You know, I mean, I don't know what the deal is, but I know I like asking questions. That's all. And I know the CIA, they do what they do, man. They had no reason. That was Operation Stargate. That was part of that. And they had no reason at all to release that information other than to release it and let people know, you know, of what those findings are. I don't know. It's interesting, right? Everybody should read it. It's interesting reading.
Even if they think it's real, by releasing it, have they damaged the reality of it, or did Did they release it because yeah, they know it's real, but it's not what we think it is?
Originally, they hired these mediums to it was about Russia. It was about sneaking into their room, their secrets. Russia was doing it to us, so we were doing that's what Stargate was all about initially. Was looking for information. Then they started using them to map out places like the dark side of the moon. At that point, it was still early in the days before we hadn't even been there. Then years later, the program advanced, and then they started doing Mars, the Mars Project. So I mean, as far as just reading it, if you don't have to believe in it, it's nothing paranormal about it. I think it's history is what it is. I think it's history, and it's a display of history, something that we have a very early concept of. Probably a lot of people can't process the information, but I think and those mediums were very well known. They weren't bullshitters, they weren't like people just out there to tell stories. They were hired, paid by the CIA. I don't think the CIA is going to run out and just get to every Merv Griffin psychic that was out there, back in the early 70s at least. Think about the concept. This is a very serious. I mean, I've done government work, man. I've been a government contractor. When it's not like politicians who can just be what they are. When you work in the government, it's all by the numbers, and it's it's got to be factual, and you got to show your work too. It's not like the private sector where you can go screw off as a scientist. You got to show your work. You got to show you're doing something. But this is the CIA. It's a fascinating bit of back and forth between them, and it just goes to show you that there's questions that need to be asked. And I think that we know there was a history, but if you go back a million years, it's a long time. We're just puny humans. We've only been here for a short time.
Yeah. Any civilization that
was for your puny human self, man.
Listen to the Native Americans who say we came from the Star People. The Star People. Navajo say Star People.
I'll be here for 100 million years. I can't speak for you.
And they came from the
outside of John's house?
Hold on, let me get back where I can see y'all for a minute.
Well, the Native Americans say 75,000 years ago is when they showed up. Okay. That was their history.
Yeah, this is right out front from where they are right now. This is I believe, at Author Services downtown LA. This is one of the places we hang out during the Writers of the Future thing. Writers of the Future.
This is Runyon Canyon right now. This is
tragic, man.
This is live.
Tragic.
Half a mile, quarter mile from us here in Hollywood.
My prayers go for those people there. Animals too. Think about the people who left their animals behind.
Oh yeah, and the wild animals too.
Right by the Hollywood sign.
Wild animals.
And the big burst, so it's just getting ready to go over the hill right now.
No resources, and they ran out of water up there. They ran out of water.
They're right on the edge of the ditch.
This is separate from the ones that were going last night. So this is brand new, just started a few minutes ago.
70 to 100 mile an hour.
Makes me wonder if anybody's setting these. I mean, 2 people did 1,000 of these have been set. I mean, 1,000 of these, 1,000 structures have been destroyed already.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's courtesy of John Goodwin, ladies and gentlemen. He's a friend of mine. He's in LA at the moment.
Wouldn't be surprised. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, man. But when you cut fire budgets by tens of millions of dollars like they did in LA, you don't have any resources. You don't have the money for it.
Yes, and we'll be talking about that on
to hear them on the scanner begging for resources, man.
Yes.
And the guy just saying, "Sorry, we don't have them."
Actually, Frank, we'll be talking about that on Friday. Come on by and check us out.
Friday, baby.
We'll be hell. The fire might still be going on Friday, as far as we know.
It could well be. I mean, if they've run out of resources, I mean, there was a news story this morning where they're screaming and crying for resources.
So where the hell's the military? How come the military doesn't swoop in with the big planes? I know they got some aircraft up.
Guard even can't they? The National Guard usually has some kind of resources.
I know they've got some aircraft up, that they're doing, but nothing like they should be. I mean,
No, I've seen a couple of them dropping water. Nothing what you would expect to see with a city burning.
Incredible, man.
I mean, you would think that.
And you got that. The Army, planes and wind, man. It's like a blast furnace.
I mean, do you know how many tankers they could bring to bear on this if they really wanted to? I'm confused why Joe Biden got on television. All right, out there, people, let's get our tankers together. Let's go put that fire out in Los Angeles. I mean, shit, they got a whole ocean out there to scoop water out of.
Yeah. How do you run out of water? You're right on the ocean.
I mean, run some hoses, people. You know what pumps are. I mean, come on. And hell, some of the fires are along the ocean as it is. I don't know.
And most fire departments are equipped with at least one of these kinds of piece of equipment called a pumper. Some of them
see,
are
down where I live,
tankers and pumpers.
So I don't live in a neighborhood where they have fire extinguishers. One of the reasons my insurance is higher, but I do live on the water. So 25 feet from my house is they would drop a filter hose out there.
Swamp though, you end up with an alligator being spit at that.
Yeah, that's okay. It's still got lots of water in it, so they can put out any fires they need to. So, and they told me if I built a hookup for it, they would even deduct 20% off my insurance. I said, well, that's cool. It's just basically a pole going into the water with a screen on the bottom and a hook on the top.
Yeah, so you don't draw up any alligators or turtles and.
Yeah, and it needs to be far, and it needs to be on the other side of my dock. So it's actually.
Believe it or not, they've got these elaborate sprinkler systems, man, that go out on the outside of the house to keep it wet and all that.
I don't have no sprinklers, but I got 4 50 millimeter Gatling guns on each corner of my house. I just thought I warn anybody. They're for UFOs, people. That's what they're for. They're for unidentified flying objects.
You would shoot little ET, man. He's coming there with little.
Shit, I took out a herd of drones. You'd have thought the damn. It's like no drones allowed on this property.
You're thinking he's like in the Aliens movie.
And I don't even have the noisy kind either. I got the new Gatling guns.
We don't know. Our government doesn't think we're old enough to know the secret, so they won't tell us. So
first alien lands.
The government don't know the secret. That's why they're asking us.
First alien lands for contact, and Joe shoots him in the head.
That's right. I'm telling you, man, I would barbecue Bigfoot tomorrow.
Bigfoot barbecue. That's a great.
I would barbecue his ass tomorrow, man. It would be barbecue.
Bigfoot. You gotta clean them first. I mean, they're pretty hairy and gross. I can't imagine they smell anything decent. I think most encounters are bears. Actually, whatever.
They smell pretty bad, dude. I mean, it's
bears smell pretty bad too. They smell a bear.
No, it's nothing like a bear.
Have you ever smelled the bear, dude?
Yes, I have. I've smelled them both. The difference is that this one smells of Bigfoot smells of musk, skunk, like not skunk, like the skunk animal, like that spray smells exactly like that. Feces, body odor, basement odor, and body.
I think we need to come out. I think we need to come out with a cologne.
Every nasty smell you can think of, all combined into one.
We gotta do it, man. UPRN sponsors Bigfoot cologne.
Oh my god!
Let the beast come out of you.
Dude, honestly, I describe it as a smell that will knock you down. It is that bad.
A commercial is chicks like, oh my god, what are you wearing? You're like, hey baby, savagery. Let's go, Bigfoot cologne.
Sasquatch number 9.
I don't know nothing.
Size 15.
I don't know nothing.
Sasquatch number 9.
Size 15s, I said. Let's go. Bigfoot cologne. Oh, have the commercial. You smell that? In the club. Bigfoot dance in the club.
I think we have finally digressed.
I know we're getting ready. We're getting ready to close that.
Yeah.
Then you have a Gillette commercial for Bigfoot, right? Like,
oh my god, can you imagine?
Shave him up. And he's like this really handsome guy. Look, he looks like a Ben Affleck.
Imagine the shaving system you can sell with a Bigfoot, mascot.
Man, well, they got that clone. They swear that works off of pheromones.
Yeah.
You could do one of those.
They've been advertising those for years.
Yeah, are there any real ones out there or not?
Well, that doesn't get women. Women. If someone likes your pheromone,
but they always warn you. They say don't put this on, otherwise girls will flock to you. And it's just like that's exactly the opposite of what's going to happen.
But really, cologne covers your pheromones up, so it kind of blocks the process. Because because chemically you could be really into someone. I've had relationships where I was really into someone, and it was just that whole chemical type of animalism, like rah, like a Bigfoot. but not like a Bigfoot. I was the Bigfoot in that relationship. Yep, I was never around and hard to find. There. I think I saw him. You see Michael? I think I saw him at the supermarket. You want to be everywhere. I am everywhere you want to be. Yeah, right.
Okie dokie. All right, we're getting.
I know it's cold up here in Yonder Land. It's like freaking
cold everywhere
outside.
Right now, I think it's cold. Everywhere in the United States.
Cold in
Hey, Google, what's the temperature?
The current temperature in Waynesboro is 21 degrees.
Beat that. Mike.
The current temperature in Waynesboro is 21 degrees.
All right, thank you. What do you got, Mike? 19, 20?
14 over here.
You're 14? Wow, we're going to get 17 tonight. So you're probably going to be down in the single digits.
We've already been below zero here, so it's been cold. It's been consistently cold.
Below freezing sucks. I mean, below zero sucks.
This sucks. This when it's 14, it just sucks, I mean, even like if it snows or whatever, when it's like 14, like the road salt doesn't work when it's under 16 degrees. So it becomes like just this whole huge thing. I don't go anywhere anyway, but I have a Jeep, so I go right through. It doesn't matter, but other people don't. So they crash into you type of thing. And the hills around, a lot of hills around here, man. And they don't plow the roads all that great. Everybody's budgets got cut. They need to cut budgets to pay for people that don't belong. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, man.
You could see the difference here from driving here in Pennsylvania. That they got most of the big roads, the highways and whatnot. So they didn't get most of the side roads. But
how much snow did you get?
But somehow Hagerstown, Maryland, got all of their side roads. You know why?
Yeah.
Recreational marijuana tax.
How much snow did you get?
We got about 18 inches.
Ooh. Yeah. That's what she said.
Maybe maybe it was probably closer to 2 feet, and then but it was powdery, and then once it settled down, it was more like 18 inches.
I think it was powdery. You go out there with
because it was so cold, it came down very powdery. Yeah, and then over the next day, it turned into just like an 18-inch slush.
We got nothing. It was just wind. That's all. Just wind.
You got lucky then.
Yeah, I could do without it. I keep thinking where can I live where I'm not going to deal with this.
You little sissies. It's going to be like -8 here, man. Bunch of little sissies, and I'm from the south.
Oh yeah, if you had 1 inch of snow, you'd be crying. You'd be like,
I can drive in snow.
I was in Savannah on the 2 or 3 occasions when it snowed more than an inch, and I saw what it did to the city. I mean,
we're not even going to get in. We ain't got time for that. But look,
people crash.
If anybody in the South listening tonight, because I know it's going to snow like a banjo over the next couple of days, so listen.
Don't drive.
If you've never driven in snow, don't drive. And if you have to, for any reason, remember, you don't drive to the stop sign and stop. You start stopping before you get to the stop sign. Understand? Because if you don't, your ass is going to go shh.
And don't stomp on it.
Yes,
don't stomp on it, or you're going to go into the building right next to you.
Now they got these really new cool plastic chains you can get, and all this new fancy dancy snow gear you can get for your car now. So, I know Mississippi only gets it 3 or 4 times a year, and it's usually not that bad. But, I know my friends in Tennessee and Arkansas get real snow, and some people in Georgia get real snow. Some people in Northern Alabama get real snow.
Up in Atlanta, they get some serious snow. They get,
so get out there, be safe. It's where I'm living, no snow. It's not supposed to snow. They said it was going to snow Thursday, but now all the rain shifted till Friday. It's going to be a little warmer here Friday, so no snow for us. For everybody else in the country, it looks like big snow. Y'all remind me Friday to tell you about something I seen on TV today from Accurate Weather Forecasting about their map across the middle of the country. Y'all going to love this. I can't say it on this show because it's way over the PG-13 rating.
Looks like a big.
Yeah, that's it. It's because we're only PG-13 here, but
pocket full of peanuts.
Yeah, it was. I was. The poor girl couldn't keep her face straight.
Big peanuts.
It was a peanut. People
look like a big peanut. Like a big.
We got to go. I want to tell everyone thanks for tuning in. Who was that won the book, Jesse? I hope you enjoyed the 2 books. Let me know how you enjoyed them. No, I'm actually getting off here. I got to check in. I got to put some archives up, and I got to check with my friend in LA and see how he's doing since the fire is only a quarter mile from their base. Now I don't even know where his house is. He lives outside of LA. He lives in LA, but outside the city somewhere.
Nothing's gonna stop that fire, man. As long as that wind is going, it's scary. I feel so bad for people.
They're saying 50 to 70 miles an hour at night, so
crazy.
It's pretty rough. There's all our friends out there in LA. Be safe.
100 miles an hour through that canyon. Oh my God.
That's hurricane force winds, people. So be careful out there.
I've been through an evacuation. It sucks. Be safe,
Yeah, and
evacuate in groups because people will.
Wind blowing fire can be a very hazardous condition. So
looks like hell on earth, man. It's terrible.
Oh yeah, it looks like somebody had written on there. Well, I guess this is what hell looks like. I said, well, LA looked like hell before it caught on fire.
Like that, yeah.
It just helped it out. Hey, but you won't be able to smell no marijuana now. Oh, I wonder if any marijuana shops caught on fire.
Oh, I wonder if any of the marijuana growing fields caught on fire.
Well, I don't think they. Well, no, they probably got them indoors. That's right. Holy crap! People half of LA might be stoned. They didn't show these people that day. They didn't want to leave because they were kind of like, Jesse, no, I'm just teasing. We got to go though, guys and girls. Be sure to check in with us Friday. We'll let y'all know all the downloads and all the good stuff going around the planet. We'll talk about Trump's plan to invade Greenland and Panama and what Germany and France had to say about it, which was, well, we'll talk about it on Friday because it was quite funny. What are you saying, Denise? Well, no. What do you mean? News on the flip side? Oh, yeah, there's definitely some comedy in that show because we do satire. I mean, that's part of the news we do is satire because really and truly, some of the stuff is just so stupid.
And you can't make it up, but it's true, most of it.
So we got a lot to talk about this Friday, that's for sure.
And no, Christina, thank you very much. I'm glad you liked the new show. It's very popular. I don't know why it's so popular, but it is. Because it's Jerry Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing and everything. It's completely about nothing, but it's at everything and about everything at the same time. Yeah, so it's whatever we feel like talking about. We can
it's about chatting. Goddamn.
But some of the things I can do, I can't do here. So anyway, we got to go, guys and girls. Again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to United Public Radio and UFO Undercover. I hope you enjoyed it. It's Mike, Joe, and Jay tonight. So I hope y'all had a good time. Be sure to catch all three of us here on Friday. Jay, when you start back with church?
This coming Friday is my.
No, so Jay will be pulling double duty.
Yep.
Well, he does 5 hours of radio, when he's with Jeff, because he does Jeffrey's show.
Marathon.
It is a marathon. Yeah. Well, I do 10 hours of work before that, so I'm up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
I'm glad he's got a good woman. Yeah, I agree. He should be glad he's got a good woman. I agree with you. That's what Janice said. You should be glad you got a good. How you know his woman? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, on that note, good night, everybody, and see y'all Friday. Goodbye. Bye.